and welcome to Rock, Paper, Shotgun Live. My name is Colin Mahern, and we're doing this again, hopefully this time without many audio issues. Fingers crossed. It's EA Play Live 2020. There are going to be a number of exciting announcements and some announcements which won't be as exciting. But the man that will be joining me to discuss all of these varying announcements of excitement is the one, the only. It's the everyone. Shh. It's the sleepy Matthew Castle. Shh. Don't wake him up. Doesn't he look so beautiful? Serene. Wonderful. Matthew. Matthew. Wake up, Matthew.
Have they announced Mass Effect Andromeda 2 yet?
Correct. And 3 and 4 as well. Are you excited for the EA Play Live 2020?
Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'll tell you how excited I am. Today's technically a day off. I've come in to the office, e.g. my dining room, just to do this. That's how much I love it. That's how much I love you, the viewer.
Do you love us as much as Toblerone, Mao? And is that a new thing I spot in the background?
Oh, don't worry about that. Ignore that. That's something else.
We're
not affiliated with any of those products, especially the John West Fridge Pot triple pack of tuna.
Matthew, it is an exciting evening because what we're about to watch was going to be EA's big showcase at E3 2020, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But, pandemic and all that. However, it's not stopping all the big announcements.
Yeah.
We're going to try and get through, what time is it? We have 18 minutes, give or take, to get through a number of different things. But the first thing that we should probably check off our list is Star Wars Squadrons, which was officially announced on Monday, I believe, with a 2-minute trailer. And we know it has a 5v5 multiplayer component, and there is a single-player story as well. Now, I have never consumed, yes, I know, a single piece of Star Wars media. So I put it to you, Matthew Castle.
That's impossible.
You may think so, but I am living proof. All right, not everyone has seen Star Wars, but what do you expect from Star Wars Squadrons?
First of all, very quickly, just to answer the comments, it's tuna in sunflower oil, I believe.
It's got to be brine, Matthew. Sunflower oil.
I believe it. No, it is sunflower oil. I can confirm. Our first reveal of the evening, world exclusive, is my tuna is in sunflower oil. Star Wars Squadrons. It's a weird one because it didn't exist like a week ago, then it did exist, and it's like it's gone through an entire hype cycle in 7 days where people have hopes and dreams for a thing that wasn't a thing a week ago, if that makes sense.
Correct. Yeah.
Coming from a PC site, we obviously have lots of older PC gamers who are excited and hoping for, well, they're not actually excited, they're hoping for a return to the old days of TIE Fighter and the like, a kind of more sort of Star Wars space sims. What they're dreading, and what I think they're likely to get, is the slightly more arcadia side of things, probably leaning more towards Starfighter, which was on PS and PS2, PC and PS2 if you played that back in the day, or maybe even the Rogue Squadron series, which is like the GameCube thing, a slightly more arcadey Star Wars.
What do you expect?
I think, based on EA are a very big mainstream company, I don't think they'll have pumped any money into anything which is remotely complicated or designed to please 40-year-old PC gamers, unfortunately.
So you think they're going for your younger Star Wars fan?
We have no idea from the trailer, but it all looks very flashy. The fact that it's got this 5v5 multiplayer, that sounds quite arcadey. I don't know. Maybe I'll be completely wrong on this, and I'll eat my words. There was one line in the press release which talked about routing power around your ship, which got people excited that maybe there will be like a slight sim layer to it, but we don't know if that'll just be like customizing your ship or like upgrades outside of battles. So who knows? We shall see. I'd be up for a really good arcade Star Wars game. I don't think that's game over. Like if it is that, I think it can still be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Listen, I have zero opinion, so I'm glad you have a few. But I have more than one opinion on the next game on our list. Matthew, there's been a lot of chatter, a lot of rumor and speculation and innuendo on a Mass Effect Trilogy remaster. You know, adding ray tracing and all that kind of jazz. Would you welcome that? Because after what's it called, Andromeda, I suppose they supposedly they put it on ice. That was the phrase going around. But I think a Mass Effect Trilogy remaster would at least get some of the fans back on side. But is that something that would interest you?
It would interest me. I think EA actually recently had quite a rare victory, like an outright thing that lots of people liked in the Command and Conquer remastered. Obviously, a very different deal. Like, we're talking about something very old there, and it went through quite a big 4K update. But it was more that was a brilliant love letter to Command and Conquer. If you were to do a Mass Effect Trilogy type thing, I think it would need to be that. I think it would need to basically be like the ultimate kind of collector's edition making of commentaries, the works. I mean, there's I don't know. Is this a rumor?
Yeah, no, it genuinely is. I'm not just making up bullshit. but I think the allure of even just your definitive editions, like all the DLC, like you think of Lair of the Shadow Broker from Mass Effect 2, or even the Citadel DLC from Mass Effect 3, which sort of wrapped the series in a nice little bow.
Yeah.
After all the hubbub around Mass Effect 3, I think that it would definitely garner some love for the series, which is waned, I suppose, since 3 and then since Andromeda.
Doing the old collector's edition also like presses the reset on how many years since the last Mass Effect. So if you are working on one behind the scenes, you can, give yourself another couple of years on the clock. It's not like, oh God, it was 4 years since we last played this thing. Yeah, I'll be interested. Well, I just feel BioWare's in a bit of a, like, they don't really know what they're doing with them, do they? It's been very, very messy since Anthem.
It has, and seeing as you brought up the name that shall not be said out loud, that's the old phrase, isn't it? Do you think that we get any more Anthem? Because they have spoken about, cleaning it up and tightening the screws and getting the people back on side for Anthem as well, making it a game that people actually want to play. Is there any hope we see the future of Anthem tonight at EA Play Live 2020?
I mean, they keep talking. It's one of these tricky things where they can't say they've abandoned it, because I think the amount of money they've pumped into it is so vast.
Yeah.
And it had, I imagine there's a person playing it at some point, and you don't want to disappoint that guy.
One. Yeah.
Yeah.
John loves Anthem.
I must admit, I was so kind of bummed out by Anthem at release. I just put it into a bit of my brain, which I just never ever consider. I never think about Anthem. When you just said Anthem, then that's the first time I've thought about Anthem in many, many months.
And listen, that is very fair. I am similar to you. That, like, the BioWare I like is the one that focuses on story. However, in saying that, like, it was relatively fun being Iron Man. It's just it didn't feel full. Like remember when this trailer was, or the gameplay was first shown off and zipping around the place, but it was just, the game felt empty and a tad soulless, really. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see where they.
I mean,
it
would be one of the greatest comebacks in video game history if it did manage to somehow become a fan favorite.
Like look at Sea of Thieves or Rainbow
Yeah,
Six
but
Siege to go
Sea of
on like your
Thieves.
live action or live
But Sea of
games
Thieves
as a
had a
service.
basic level of like love at the beginning that I don't think Anthem ever had. Sea of Thieves was very skinny, but the central pirate fantasy was enough. I think the updates came regularly enough. They were very disciplined with it, and they were good when they came.
True.
I think they're very
No,
fairly different things.
that is very fair. Matthew, we should have given ourselves more than 20 minutes because we have a lot of other games to discuss. So I mentioned that Star Wars Squadrons is definitely
Yeah.
going to be there. But another thing that we know, or well, a studio that we know is going to be at EA Play Live 2020 is Hazelight,
Yes.
who brought us A Way Out, a game that I have a very soft spot for, Matthew Castle. I think that is like a quality 6 out of 10. Like a really good, like this is a 3-star that you need to play. I thought it did some cool little things with having your co-op game where you have one player in a cutscene and the other in active combat or whatever it was. I don't know. And Josef Fares.
He's a charismatic guy. I like him.
He's a character, but he obviously was it the designer he was as well on Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons with Starbreeze.
He's the creator of Brothers. Yeah.
So like, would you foresee the next game from Hazelight being or having a focus again on some co-op element?
Well, yeah, you'd think so. I personally thought A Way Out was a total bust. I don't mean to be super negative or rain on your parade.
Oh, please, rain away, rain away.
I loved Brothers. I thought it was an exceptionally sweet and clever game. I thought it really delivered on a sort of subtle cinematic story. I thought A Way Out, on paper, I love the idea, like a big cinematic co-op game, a game you have to play in co-op. So it was built from the ground up. It wasn't like an afterthought. I thought, wow, if you're going to force people to play it this way, the ideas you can commit to are so exciting. I just didn't think they were. I thought it played like two single-player action games that had very little relation on each other, apart from a few crappy mini games. Like I thought it was a huge bust.
See, I suppose
but
I
think
wasn't.
I'm in the minority on this. A lot of people really love it.
I'm not sure if you are, but I thought that going in, I wasn't expecting much, so I suppose everything else was a bonus. But yeah, I don't know. I have a bit of a soft spot for it. But another thing that we know is going to be there, and we will waste very little time on it because it is of the essence. Sports, Matthew. How excited are you for all the
this is your
sweaty hockey players and sweaty football, both association and American? It's going to be brilliant. Yeah,
did I splishy splash in the pond? Is that something that happened in A Way Out?
Yes, Adam Spade in the comments said, "Did you splishy splashy in the pond, though, Matthew?" Yeah, that is a thing. When I think it's when you just break out of prison, you can splishy splash in a pond. Anyway, come on.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sports, whatever. Battlefield, Matthew. It has been 2 years since Battlefield 5, and 2 years again. You have to go back for Battlefield 1, and originally it looked like EA were working on a Battlefront sort of alternating time schedule, but then last year's Star Wars game was obviously what's called Jedi Fallen Order. Do you think we get Battlefield 6? Is it time, Matthew?
No, I think it's large. It's rumored that they won't be there in any substantial way. Dice. That's what people say. Like, I wonder if it's because it's one of these weird crossover years. I wonder if a lot of studios are they're gunning for next year instead. Get the next gen version of the game, like absolutely, singing and kind of come out kind of all guns blazing. I can't really remember what Battlefield did at the turn of this current generation. If was there a Battlefield 4? Was it 4 that was the first one on Xbox One? Oh yeah.
It was it? Yeah, because didn't it go Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5? I think that's the timeline.
Yeah,
for fun, if there was to be a new Battlefield, what would you like to see from Battlefield 6?
I quite liked the World War one. Was that just called Battlefield 1?
That was Battlefield 1, yeah.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that one. That was the last one I played a decent amount of. I didn't play a lot of the more recent one. Again, it just didn't kind of get its hooks into me too early on. But I do like Battlefield. I mean, I'd rather they went back to, like, the last Battlefield I truly loved was Battlefield Bad Company 2. I don't know if that's just because of the nostalgia factor, because I played it with lots of friends. It was like the last big thing that a particular group of friends really got into.
I'll play Battlefield with you, Matthew, if you want. I'm terrible at it, but if you're looking for a Battlefield person.
Someone wants to see Battlefield 2142.
Cheers for completely blanking my thing as well. Matthew, a couple of other things to get to very quickly.
Tell you what, some amazing ice cream chat in the comments.
Good, I'm glad to hear it.
I really feel like we found our people.
Are you into Apex Legends? Is that something you're into? Would you like to see crossplay, which is the common thing that is requested from fans of the Battle Royale?
I'd like to see whatever changes needed to be made that mean there's a sudden influx of very bad players on PC, so I can actually stand a chance of winning. That's what I want to see. I've only played a tiny bit of Apex Legends. It's probably the Battle Royale I like the most, but it's not a thing I dedicate a huge amount of time to. But you've played a fair amount of Apex Legends. You up for a bit more?
Most definitely. No, the reason I was making silly faces that you couldn't see was because we have 4 minutes, so I'm trying to move on to the couple of final points. Did you play much of Dragon Age? Is that something you would be excited to see tonight? Because again, who knows? Maybe we'll get to see Dragon Age 4, which obviously has had a horrid development.
Me a big fantasy RPG. Again, like who knows what's going on with that studio? I'd be interested, because I think the last
it's been 18 months since we've seen it. The first thing we saw of Dragon Age 4 technically was at the Game Awards, and was this just kind of animated trailer that mentioned things from Dragon Age Inquisition. Would you be looking for something a bit more concrete, even if it's just like a fancy CG trailer?
Yeah, I find it very hard to get excited for CG movie trailers. Like, I want to see what a game looks like. I want to see what I'm actually going to be playing. Like, it's totally meaningless to show me a movie from a game. Like, I just don't care. So we'll see. I just think they're a little bit off. But I think the last game BioWare made that I really loved was Dragon Age Inquisition. So fingers crossed. That game looked so good. Mm-hmm. That's what I like. A good fantasy world with amazing art design is always a good showcase for like the next gen. It's a big graphical kind of like chance to kind of strut your stuff. So that's what I'd really like to see.
Right, we have about 60 seconds, Matthew. Big question to finish it off. Do we get Skate 4?
Probably not. But,
correct.
Fingers crossed. Or Sims 5. I'd also be interested if they talked about what the plan is because they have mentioned it in a few kind of management calls or whatever. So we shall see.
Yes, we will. So now what you can do, dear viewer, is you can watch EA play live right here on Rock Paper Shotgun, and myself, Colin Mahern, and Matthew Castle will be back once this is all done and dusted. It's premiering shortly, apparently, on the EA channel. And then once that's done, we'll come back and we'll run through all the trailers and announcements and whatever else. Fingers crossed, there will be a decent amount. Enjoy that, and we will chat to you in give or take an hour and a half.
Will Alex Hunter be back?
Oh, Jesus Christ. See you in a bit. Bye. It's not started yet, has it? Come on, EA Play, start.
Oh, Jesus. We've got to fill some time.
I was trying to rush for time, and now we're trying to fill. Any other left field things, Matthew? Need for Speed. Need for Speed, the Run 2. Yes, go on.
The only other thing is EA Originals, which is their indie label. Sometimes they pluck a couple of interesting things from obscurity, and then never really promote them ever again. So that'll be exciting to see who's the next victim of that label.
Yeah, another Sea of Solitude or Fee or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And as you said, yeah, maybe a Sims. I would enjoy a Titanfall 3, but I know because of Apex Legends that's not going to happen. Right, this is kicking off they've given a 2-minute countdown. So actually, Matthew, we have a bit of time.
Oh, okay, we got 2 minutes.
We were timed to perfection, but now we have 2 minutes before it actually starts.
2 minutes to fill. Total wildcards. What about some Dead Space? They won't do more Dead Space.
Oh, that is a wild card, isn't it? Well,
yeah, they won't though.
After Dead Space 3, like they were forecasting, was it 6? I think it was 6 million at the time. That's the figure I remember. And obviously, when that news came out that, oh, this is the forecast, people were like, Dead Space is now on a hiding to nothing because it's never going to reach that figure. And I'm pretty sure it did relatively well in terms of sales, but of course it's not going to sell 6 million. Would you like a Dead Space?
Yeah, I'd like a Dead Space that kind of carried on from Dead Space 2. I didn't really get on with the third one. I don't think many people did.
I don't think they did they? No.
It's the weird cart one. But Jen Mima Sweets in the comments is saying a Peggle 2020 gritty reboot.
Oh, remember when the guy from was a PopCap and he came out and he just announced Peggle 2 and I'm sure he said...
What would the gritty reboot of Peggle play when you hit the final peg instead of Ode to Joy?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Who was that?
Cradle of Filth.
Who was that slightly gothy band with the slightly sort of winsome girl? I think they did a song for like the Daredevil film. It's like early noughties.
I don't know, but what I do know is we have 15 seconds, so I'm going to put it over to our friends in America for EA Play Live. So enjoy that, and then myself and Matthew will come back and chat some more. Enjoy EA Play Live. See you in a bit.
Hello and welcome everyone to EA Play 2020. We're happy that you're joining us today. Over the next 45 minutes or so, we've got so much for you, including creative, innovative, and really fun new games, and a lot of news to share. But before we get into the show, I'd like to take just a minute here. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to first responders, medical staff, and essential personnel. This has certainly been a challenging year. From natural disasters like the bushfires in my home country to the devastating COVID-19 pandemic, these brave heroes are working to keep us safe and healthy at every turn. I also want to thank our teams for their amazing dedication while working from home. What you've been able to achieve is nothing short of inspirational. We are also deeply thankful to all of you, our players. Even when we've had to stay physically apart, billions of you are using games to come together, to play, and do amazing things for each other. You've shown why this is truly the greatest form of entertainment on the planet. This is also a critical time for the movement to end racism and racial injustice in this world. Black lives matter, and there is much to be done to drive real and meaningful change. A couple of weeks ago, we shared some actions that Electronic Arts is taking. We will not rest on this. It's a long-term commitment. We're here for players of every color, background, religion, and personal preference. We will continue to build strong representation in our games, and we are focused on making our communities fun, inclusive, and positive places to play. We also have real work to do to bring greater diversity into our company, and we are committed to doing that work. Today, we're here because of the power of games. Games bring us together. They can make our lives better, they can teach us, they can provide escape and self-expression. And most of all, games can be fun. All of us at Electronic Arts believe in that, and it's why we're excited to get up every morning to make great experiences for all of you. So thanks for being here with us. And now, let's get into some games.
What's up, everybody? I'm Greg Miller, and welcome to EA Play. We had an incredible show in LA planned for you. Huge stage, massive setup, these giant monitors. I was gonna fly in on an X-Wing. I was gonna land the X-Wing on stage. I was gonna set off a bunch of fireworks. Then what? T-shirt cannon, bam, shooting out game consoles. Then Carol Baskin, some tigers. That last part was all me. Then, because of circumstances beyond our control, we had to come up with something a little different. Instead of LA, I'm in my hometown of San Francisco, but we still have the Tigers. What's that, James? No Tigers. So you lied. Oh, all right. I'm being told there are no Tigers, but whatever. We're still gonna bring you the EA Play you know and love. Huge surprises, big announcements, incredible reveals, and never before seen gameplay. Coming up over the next hour, we've got game reveals galore, world premiere trailers of new titles, some old favorites making a comeback, a look at a new way Star Wars fans can live out their greatest fantasies this year, plus a sneak peek at the future. Oh, and pay close attention because today you could win one of thousands of Steam codes for more than a dozen great EA games on Steam. Throughout the show, keep an eye out for discreetly placed golden letters. Write them down as they appear, and at the end of the show, we'll tell you where you can enter that secret code for a chance to win free games on Steam. So don't go anywhere. Who am I kidding? None of us can leave our houses. But enough talking. Let's see some games. Up first, we're headed to the Outlands. That's right, it's Apex Legends time.
Anyone want to take me out?
You should smile more.
Hey Apex fans, the battle just keeps getting bigger. Thanks to you, Apex Legends is coming off its most successful, most epic season yet, and we're just getting started. Season 4 saw more of you jumping into the fight than ever before, and you've kept that amazing momentum going forward, making Season 5 the biggest and best start to a season ever.
Took out an enemy. Hold on to your holograms.
We hope you've been enjoying Season 5, Fortune's Favor, which has seen the introduction of our latest legend, Loba, a major map change to Kings Canyon, rest in peace Skulltown, an all-new ranked series, and a ton of quality of life updates. But it's about to get even better. Today, I'm here to tell you about what's coming next to Season 5 with our latest collection event, Lost Treasures. Take a look.
I might bury you here. No one will ever know. You'll just be gone.
Adventurers, raiders, explorers, they risk everything in search of fame, fortune, and answers. Few find what they're looking for. But if they survive, they might walk away with lost treasures.
I'll high-five you all when I see you. Mobile respawn beacon here.
My synapses are firing again. Check yourself or wreck yourself.
Hey, thanks. I owe you one.
Guns? Who needs guns? I don't need guns.
I know what I'm looking for. I won't walk away without it. 너를 찾을 거야.
T, it's me. Be careful. He's watching you.
As you just saw, the Lost Treasures collection event brings with it a ton of great content, including a new limited time mode, Armed and Dangerous Evolved. It's the return of a fan favorite, snipers and shotties only, but with a twist.
Sending out my decoy.
All armor is Evo armor, and we're removing all of the respawn beacons across the entire map. Don't worry though, you'll still be able to bring back your teammates with the help of a new item, the mobile respawn beacon. You'll have one of these in your inventory at the start of each match, giving you the power to choose when, and more importantly, where you bring your teammates back into the battle. Lost Treasures also introduces a new town takeover, Crypto's Map Room. which gives players a closer look at what motivates this drone-wielding hacker. And of course, the Lost Treasures collection delivers a bunch of exclusive content you can earn by completing challenges, as well as all new event-exclusive cosmetic items and the introduction of your boy Mirage's heirloom, which is fittingly a trophy of himself.
Excited to see you all in the ring. Don't worry, there's plenty of me's to go around.
And the best part is you don't have to wait that long. Lost Treasures drops on Tuesday, June 23rd. And that's not all, Apex fans. The battle is expanding. That's right, this fall we're bringing Apex Legends to Steam. And I know you're hoping, wondering, praying, so before you ask, yeah, crossplay is coming to Apex this fall. It's been one of the biggest requests we get, and we're thrilled to finally deliver it to our fans. What am I forgetting? Oh yeah, one last thing, let's make it official. We're huge fans of Nintendo here at Respawn, and we are incredibly excited to be bringing Apex Legends to the Switch this fall. And we'll share more details in the months ahead. So that means you'll be able to squad up no matter where you and your friends prefer to play, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, or on the PC via Origin and Steam. We're throwing out a lifeline and healing the divide between the platforms. On behalf of the entire Apex team, we want to thank our incredible community. Your passion for the game is truly inspiring. We look forward to seeing you all in the arena. And don't forget, check out Lost Treasures on June 23rd.
Woo! Oh man, that was amazing. I think I'm hyperbolic. I think I'm hyperman. I've had a really good time here.
Sul, everyone. One thing I admire about Apex Legends is its commitment to having such a diverse range of characters. At The Sims, we've always believed representation and diversity in games is critically important, perhaps now more than ever. It's difficult to put into words just how meaningful it can be to see yourself reflected in the games you play. So, here to tell you in their own words are a few members of our Sims community.
It's a very interesting thing to explain.
It feels empowering, actually, and very moving.
It really taught me a lot. The importance of just like keeping relationships good with people.
It's probably like the only place where I was open.
They get to see my personality first before seeing my disability, I guess you could say.
I found myself to be the only black child in my school. I was discriminated, I was bullied. My skin tone, my height, and my teeth.
First realized that I was trans, and I was like praying to God to undo it. I have this world where I can express myself and be myself.
Where I come from, who I am, the color of my skin, you know, who I'm attracted to, let any of that get in the way. It was no barriers.
No matter where I was or what I was going through, I had my safe place. This is plausible. This is a future you can have.
It was almost like I was peeking into the future, and I didn't know it at the time, but it gave me hope.
It gave me a sense of hope that I could build a life that looked like that.
The Sims is almost like a utopia of what I hope our world eventually becomes.
As I got more comfortable with my character in the game, I got more comfortable with myself.
I play to build me.
I play to express myself.
I play to make a difference.
I play to feel good about myself.
I play to have confidence.
To have me time.
Fuel my creativity.
It's more than just a game. It's creating your life.
As you just saw, there are so many reasons why I am proud to be part of the Sims global community. We want the Sims to be a place of unity and hope, a place where you can be your authentic self and build your vision for our shared world, a place to imagine what's possible. To our Simmers, thank you for everything you've done to make your communities, virtual and real, a better place. Now, I know some of you tuned in hoping for some Sims news, and we'll have plenty to share as the summer goes on, but we do have one announcement for you. We'll be welcoming players on a whole new platform as The Sims 4 arrives on Steam today. Take a look.
pictures on the planet. There's some footprints on the moon. Every particle connected. Every universe in blue.
Hey everyone, Alex here from the social team, and joining me today from our community team is Freeman.
Hey folks, yes, we're here to tell you that it's not just The Sims 4 arriving on Steam today. 5 more great EA games, including Titanfall 2, A Way Out, and Dead Space 3, are all playable right this second.
And when EA Access arrives on Steam this fall, you can get all those great titles and a ton more with your membership.
You can also expect to see our new releases on Steam too. One of the first arrived just a short while ago with full mod support via Steamworks.
The critics love it, and we know you will too. This is Command & Conquer Remastered.
Welcome back, Commander.
And Steam isn't the only platform getting some love. We'll be bringing games to more platforms than ever.
You can expect 7 new games coming to Switch in the next 12 months, including Burnout Paradise coming tomorrow and Apex Legends later this year. And we're bringing crossplay to many of your favorite games too, starting with Need for Speed Heat and continuing with some new titles being revealed later in the show.
It's all about giving you the freedom to play what you want, where you want, and with who you want. It's about playing together.
Absolutely. Now, let's reveal some more games. Over to you, Greg.
Quick reminder to keep an eye out for those special golden letters hidden throughout the show. They could appear anywhere, and I mean anywhere, so keep your eyes open. Write the letters down as they appear, and once you've got the full code, you'll be able to enter for a chance to win one of more than a dozen great games on Steam. So stay tuned and find out where to enter the code at the end of the show. Now, if you follow my content at all, then you know there's nothing I love more than buffalo wings and discovering inventive new games. Well, I don't have any buffalo wings, but I do have something just as tasty. Over the past couple of years, EA has partnered with the amazing studios like Hazelight and Zoink to give us such creative titles as A Way Out and Faye. Here to explain how they do it are a few of the talented developers working on the next wave of EA originals.
Sometimes you just have this great idea of a game, but it can be really hard to do it on your own.
We wanted space for our studio's creativity to flow free, so that we could try unconventional approaches to solving new ideas.
There are times where you've got to break past your own sort of mental blocks, even if that meant building a whole new kind of game engine.
We get to do the game we want to do. Nothing, and I mean nothing, comes into the game if it doesn't follow the vision.
We can really push our ideas further and bigger than we first imagined.
Let's find that magic.
And now for a deeper dive into what these developers are working on, we turn our spotlight on 3 studios. Up first is Hazelight and their mild-mannered, quiet leader, Josef Fares.
Let's do it.
Please welcome Josef Fares.
There are like passionate people, there are crazy people, and there is me. Okay, can you swear here? Can you swear? Okay. The Oscars, you know? The Oscars! You! No apologies there. Yeah, I know I'm cocky. I can't help it, man. I was born in Beirut, 1977. I lived there 10 years. There was civil war, and there was a lot of bad stuff happening there. We tried to move 5 times to Sweden. The 5th time they let us in. And that's lucky for Sweden, because I've given Sweden a lot, you know. My 3rd movie, Zozo, it's basically about my life when I came to Sweden when I was young. I've done 5 feature movies and now I've done 3 games. And it's way harder to make a game. It's almost like the audience have control of the pacing of the story, while in movies it's being paced for you. In video games, there's so much to be explored from a storytelling perspective because of the interactivity. There are some studios out there that are making games that have good stories, but they pretty much have one mechanic they like reuse all the time. The designers and the story writers are kind of like doing 2 different games. That's why I founded Hazelight, to keep pushing the boundaries of what is possible in games. That's what game number 3 from Hazelight is all about. And action. The new game, It Takes Two, is a co-op action-adventure platformer that will blow your f***ing mind away. The story starts out with a small family. Cody, May, that's the parents, and then Rose, the little daughter. So Cody and May are about to separate. Rose doesn't want them to divorce, so she creates 2 dolls out of wood and clay, and these dolls magically come alive and actually controls both Cody and May. And you could say you're almost controlling their emotions. You're almost playing their emotions. There's even levels where we're actually making a mechanic for their emotions. So again, marrying the story and the mechanics. And I think for the players, that's gonna feel very new, different, and unique. They haven't played anything like this before. It Takes Two is a crazy roller coaster ride that doesn't really have an ending. It has an ending, but that ending is that the roller coaster crashes and you fly into the sky and get up into space. And when you're in space, you're like, what the f*** am I doing up here? And then maybe you get back to Earth again. That's the best way to describe It Takes Two, actually.
Wow, that was the best way to describe it. All right, Josef, we love you so much. Thank you. Keep it up over there. The Oscars. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep this originals train rolling, and let's stay in Sweden. Of course, I'm a fan of both their delicious red gummy fish and their video games. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Klaus and Olav from Zoink Games.
Thanks, Greg. Welcome to Gothenburg and, well, my home. Unfortunately, I didn't bring you any Swedish fish, but we do have some exciting news for you about our latest game. At Zoink, we've always been driven by love of rich visual storytelling and creating strange worlds that people can escape to. The weirder, the better, and I think my friend Olav would agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And for our next game though, we wanted to try something a little darker, something out of a gothic fairy tale. What started with a mood and some paintings grew into this eerie, strange world that feels like something out of a beautiful, twisted dream. And that's the world of random.
Lost in Random is the story of Even, a little girl with a big heart and an even bigger temper. After a horrible event that changes her life, she embarks on a dangerous journey through the world of random. But fortunately, she's not alone. Just like I have Olav, Even also has a crazy little weird friend thing with her.
Along her journey, Even discovers Dicey, a playful, loyal, almost puppy-like dice companion that gives her the power to really change things in the kingdom of random. Despite the name, in Even's world, randomness is feared, and a dark force controls every aspect of life, from where you live to how you act or what your favorite color is. It's a coming-of-age story set against the backdrop of a mysterious world, but it holds a modern message that's really relevant to our world right now.
I think we can all relate to the desire to try and control the chaos around us. With Dicey's help though, Even learns the power in doing just the opposite. Embrace the randomness, accept the uncertainties in life, and you'll be surprised how far it takes you.
Imagine if you could change the course of life with the roll of a dice. What would you do? Play it safe or trust in yourself and take a chance. We can't wait for you to play and find out.
We're still a long ways from launch, but we hope you will join Even and Dicey on their journey next year. Until then, please enjoy this first look at Lost in Random.
Welcome to Random.
The world of random bends with the roll of one dice. A dice that has ruled this kingdom for generations, transforming the fates of people just like you. But what if I told you there is another dice with the power to change everything? Now, my friend, it's your turn to roll, to play the odds, and break the curse of random.
Well. You can't have the sweet without the sour.
No, Dicey. They should be scared of us, right?
Really cool. That's a look at Lost in Random, and man, embracing randomness. I feel like I live that every day of my life. Ah! Do you know I was gonna do that? You didn't know that. Dicey's my spirit animal. The game's out next year. But for something that's blasting off a whole lot sooner, take it away, Kevin Franklin.
At Final Strike Games, our team of experienced industry veterans have worked on incredible multiplayer franchises. We are passionately focused on making great multiplayer games. That's why I am incredibly excited to announce that we have partnered with the talented team at EA to release our first ever title, Rocket Arena. As you'll see, we stay loyal to the name of the game. It's a rockets-only shooter that allows players to get into the action quickly and stay in the fight. We wanted Rocket Arena to be an awesome, competitive experience to play with friends. I think you're gonna love what we've got in store for you. Here is the all-new trailer of Rocket Arena. Enjoy.
Rockets away!
Let's kick this into gear. The trophy will soon be mine.
Have you ever wondered why life is so good on Crater? Sure, we've got the beautiful beaches.
Cannonball!
Quality public transportation. And exotic destinations.
Another victory!
The people are courteous and friendly.
Jolly good for me.
And always happy to help their fellow citizens.
Are you leaving already?
But the real reason life is so good? We've got rockets.
Let's hit the trail.
I hunger for battle. Talk about razzle dazzle. Never turn your back on the water.
I got speed to spare.
I'm here to rock it.
I'm having a blast! Full speed ahead!
So as you just saw, rockets are obviously awesome to blast all over the place. But in order to come out on top, there's a lot to master. You'll have a range of rocket-powered abilities to blast opponents out of the arena, and an arsenal of evasive moves. Rocket jump, rocket climb, and dodge to avoid getting knocked out yourself. Don't worry though, you're never out of the action for long. Even when you're out, you'll fly right back into the fray. You'll also be able to really customize your own unique look and playstyle. Each of the 10 heroes available at launch have their own rocket-powered abilities. And as you play, you'll discover items that allow you to further refine each of your heroes' playstyles. Plus, every character has 100 levels of progression that unlock new cosmetics and rewards. All that and much more when Rocket Arena arrives on July 14th. And there's plenty more content to come in our first season, which begins just 2 weeks after launch on July 28th, and brings with it a blast pass and a ton of free content, including new maps, in-game events, and a new playable character. Rocket Arena is a game meant to be played with friends, regardless of platform. That's why we're thrilled to announce cross-play support right from the start. So grab your friends, regardless of their platform, and get ready to blast off with Rocket Arena on July 14th on PlayStation, Xbox, Origin, and Steam. And we'll be sharing more gameplay right after the show with the help of some great content creators. So check us out on YouTube at the link below. See you in the arena.
Wow, that looks great. And hopefully you've all been keeping track of the golden letters hidden throughout the show and nearly cracked the code. Here's a hint. It's not Kanye. Keep an eye out for the last couple of letters, and then at the end of the show, we'll reveal where you need to go to enter the code at a chance to win some great games on Steam. Now, from the future of rocket warfare, we head to a different kind of battle. It's the real reason I didn't get any sleep last night, and if you thought you heard sleigh bells, that's because it might as well be Christmas in June. It's finally time to talk Star Wars Squadrons. Now, okay, I promise you we are going to get a first look at some brand new gameplay in just a moment. But first, for anyone who doesn't fully grasp why I'm so excited, earlier this week, EA and Lucasfilm dropped a trailer that literally gave me all the feels, chills, joy, excitement, and then more chills on top of that. Take a look.
Seize that moment.
I'm the perfect shot. Makes history.
5 pilots.
1 squadron.
The galaxy's finest.
Wow, the 8-year-old in all of us is celebrating and excited. The 37-year-old man on this couch is excited. Ladies and gentlemen, for the second year in a row, I have the honor and privilege of helping introduce a new Star Wars title. And here, to put the hype in hyperdrive, is none other than Motive's creative director, Ian Frazier. Hello, Ian.
Hey, Greg, how you doing?
I'm great, how are you?
Doing good. Happy to actually get to show this to people.
I bet. Now, in my copious notes I have on you, I'm told you are quite the Star Wars fan and have been a long time. How long have you liked Star Wars?
I've been a Star Wars fan for pretty much my whole life. I don't even remember the first time I saw the movies. And as a kid, there was a lot of different parts of Star Wars I loved. One of them was being a pilot, that idea of climbing into an X-Wing or a TIE fighter. So, I played all the flight games in the 90s, and I got pretty obsessive about them. I'd pause, meticulously draw the insides of the cockpits and stuff. And actually, I dug up some of those drawings from my parents' attic over the holidays.
We're showing them right now to the world. This strikes me as above and beyond the normal level of Star Wars fandom.
I think at Motive, you'll find that quite a few people have that level of Star Wars fandom. When we started this project, I talked to a lot of people as they joined the team, and a lot of them had similar kinds of stories of things they'd done as kids. One of them even built a functional cockpit in his garage.
Wow, that's fandom on another level. How do you guys go from being a fan, drawing what you see in the game, or building a cockpit in your garage, to actually making this game?
Well, I think that fandom, just love of Star Wars, has provided a really good foundation for us. But on top of that, of course, the team at Motive got a lot of experience working with Star Wars when they worked on Battlefront 2. And when Battlefront 2 wrapped up, there was a really small group of us that were really into particularly the pilot experience within Star Wars, and we wanted to make something new, something that really went all in on that part of the fantasy. And so we did kind of a grassroots initiative, or started a little passion project, and that ramped up into eventually what is the game we're going to show you today.
You talk about, your passion for this, your nostalgia for Star Wars flight games of the past. How do you honor that but make something brand new?
It's been interesting. We were trying to kind of pull from that spiritual heritage of many different games in that time period. At the same time, we want to do something that feels fresh and new for fans today. And so what we've tried to look at is sort of the spiritual core of what I think are the best of the Star Wars flight games of the past. And what they did that I love is that they made that part of the universe real. The level of depth and detail that they show in the ships, the way that you control them, is something that I remember fondly from my childhood, and is something that we're trying to do very much with Squadrons. In real life, being a pilot is hard. It takes skill. And that's something that you'll see throughout the game. As you start off playing, it's pretty straightforward, fly around, shoot your lasers. But as you get deeper into it, you start learning how to divert energy from your lasers to your engines, how to shift your shields from the front to the back to cover your butt in a dogfight. Or at the higher levels of skill, you can do really crazy stuff. Like you can boost your engines, fly ahead, cut them off, whip around 180 and shoot a missile off your own tail while drifting backwards. Like real ace pilot stuff. And that's really where we have a lot of fun with the game.
I want to do that. I want to learn how to do that. I understand the nuts and bolts of how to play it. Is there a single player story? Is there a multiplayer mode? What are we getting into?
It's actually some of both. So the game starts with a brand new single player story, takes place a little bit after Return of the Jedi, and it has kind of a unique dual perspective approach to it. So when the game starts, you're going to create two pilots. You create a New Republic pilot and an Imperial pilot, and you're going to alternate between their perspectives mission to mission over the course of the story. You're going to meet a diverse cast of characters along the way, and also a few familiar faces. Now, when you're done with that story and you've played maybe a bit in the practice range, you say, hey, I want to try multiplayer. We want to make it really easy for you to hop online with your friends and play competitive space battles at that point. And so we've done a lot to try to reduce the barriers, to make it as easy as possible for you to play with your friends. And so I'm happy to say we fully support crossplay. You could be on PS4, Xbox One, PC. You could be playing on a traditional display or in VR, which, fun fact, the entire game supports VR from beginning to end, which is pretty cool. But regardless of how you're playing, which platform, they can all play together. Just hook up with your friend, connect, have an awesome space battle.
You just Death Starred my mind, man. That's awesome. That is, the big question, when can people actually play it?
Not too long, actually. Star Wars Squadrons is coming out on October 2nd.
Okay, not too long at all. I was worried about you. I thought you were going to leave me on a teaser there. You didn't. You actually delivered. I appreciate that. The next big ask I have on behalf of everybody watching, I'm sure, who came here for one specific reason, can we see some new gameplay of it? Can we see any gameplay of it?
Absolutely. I kind of figured you might want to. On behalf of everyone at Motive and the team at Lucasfilm, I am very happy to show you the world's first look at gameplay of Star Wars Squadrons. Enjoy.
Second Death Star is gone, but the Imperial fleet is still a threat. Vanguard Squadron, let's make history.
This is it, Titan Squadron. Everything we've done has led to this. Finish those Vanguard scum!
This is Star Wars Squadrons. Earn your wings in a single-player story spanning 2 factions.
All stations! Fire on that ship!
And master multiplayer battles as a squadron of 5. With the option to play the entire game in VR. This is the definitive Star Wars pilot experience.
Come on!
You'll begin your career in a single-player story.
Welcome to Titan Squadron.
Where you'll play as 2 combat pilots, flying for both the Empire and the New Republic. You'll experience this world through your cockpit. The instrumentation in front of you provides critical feedback about power management, targeting, and shields. With a squadron of diverse characters at your side, prove your skills on increasingly challenging missions.
Hello, Vanguard. Welcome to the Nadiri dockyards.
One of my spies has linked the attacks with the New Republic Starhawk project.
The story of the 2 pilots you play
Stick together.
will shape the balance of power in the galaxy.
Get ready!
Let him have it.
To take the fight online, you'll need flight time with all 8 ships. Fighters are the most flexible and versatile, able to handle any situation. Interceptors are fast and highly maneuverable.
Let's get him.
Ideal for hunting down your opponent's starfighters.
That was kind of fun!
Support ships can keep allies safe and stocked up, as well as disrupting enemy fighters.
Light him up! Nice.
Bombers are the heavy hitters, able to deal devastating damage to enemy flagships and starfighters.
But if you've got a preferred component and need something customized, I'll take care of it.
Unlock everything you need to customize your pilot and starfighters simply by playing the game. From cosmetics to an arsenal of over 50 components that alter how your ships fly, fight, and survive.
They're on you! I'll deal with it.
You can dramatically change your loadout depending on your squadron's strategy.
Finally got him.
This will be critical in Star Wars Squadrons multiplayer modes. First up, dogfights. This is an all-out 5v5 battle.
That hard 5, that was the best!
Fine-tune your loadouts to work as a team.
Moving in on the enemy.
Utilize components like tractor beams, turrets, and mines to slow down your opponents or set up your squad mates for the kill.
Rebels unmarked.
For teams looking for an even greater challenge, it's time to prove yourself in Star Wars Squadron's signature mode, Fleet Battles. Fleet Battles are multi-stage conflicts. Whether playing solo or with friends, you'll have the option to compete against other players or AI as a squadron of 5.
Don't worry, I got him for you.
Meet your team in the social hub to solidify strategy, coordinate loadouts, and prepare for takeoff. First, push the front line by winning the dogfight in the center of the map. Next, attack or defend 2 medium-sized capital ships.
We've lost our capital ships.
And finally, the ultimate goal. Target and destroy the subsystems of your opponent's massive flagship and take it down.
Shields are disabled.
At each phase, your squadron either pushes the line forward or falls back to defend.
Keep our flagships safe.
It's your squadron's choice of how to play.
I'm hit!
Speedy, unrelenting assaults.
Stay together, strike quickly.
Stealth and subversion.
Jamming the enemy. Sensors can't spot you.
Or brutal bombardment.
That ship is vulnerable. Take your shot.
We need to hurry.
A unified squadron is the key to victory.
Making my attack run now.
Let's make this count.
This is Star Wars Squadrons. Join the galaxy's finest and make your mark.
You are the hope of this galaxy.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy Lamar Jackson. I'm excited to be a part of the EA Sports family and to be you guys' new man cover athlete. I can't wait to show you guys what we have in store for you this season. This is EA Sports, next level.
You feel it all.
You feel that burst of speed?
It's like I'm lightning. In that moment, I'm untouchable.
I'm not playing. I'm not afraid of anything.
Not afraid to hit or get hit.
This game is my one true love.
Makes me feel like somebody. I never thought I could rise to another way.
It's just me and the keeper. My heart is like... Doom.
that goal, then you're a hero.
And history carves your name.
You know what it sounds like? 60,000 people
singing your song.
I can't live without that feeling.
It's in your bones. I feel football in my heart.
Feel it in your hands.
Why? Taste it. See the unknown.
Face my fears.
You live to fight again.
I want the real thing. I want that sweat dripping, shin splitting, hair raising.
I want to live in the floodlights.
I want to feel it all.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Now, that's a lot to look forward to, but there's more. Here to tell us about the future of gaming is EA's Chief Studio Officer, Laura Miele.
Thanks, Greg, and thanks, Lamar. Welcome to the EA Sports family. There are great things to come from EA Sports for all of you, and that's just the beginning. As you've seen throughout the show today, our electronic artists are working hard to bring you more of the games that you want to play. Games like Star Wars Squadrons, Apex Legends, and Command & Conquer. These games all exist because of you. Your voices are heard, and we are acting on your feedback. Now, we've talked a lot about all the exciting games you'll be playing this year, but our studios are working even further out, creating new experiences, new stories, new gameplay, all enabled by new console technology. And we're so excited about what's to come, we don't want to wait until next June to share what the teams are working on. Generation shifts are an opportunity to push beyond the boundaries of gaming as we know it today, and this time is no different. Our studios are taking their crazy ambitious ideas and making them real. Criterion is known for how their games feel. From superior physics to nuanced details of gameplay, this team hand curates the moment-to-moment experience. And with the new consoles this year, there will be a seamless immersion which will get you into the race in a matter of seconds. BioWare imagines and creates worlds where you become the hero of your own story. And we're using this next generation of technology to make those fantasy worlds your reality. For every console generation, DICE sets the bar for excellence in audio and visual presentation. We are creating epic battles at a scale and fidelity unlike anything you've experienced before. At Motive, we are working on a highly ambitious and innovative new game that puts the power and creativity in your hands. And it's an experience that would have been impossible without next-gen technology. This is just the beginning of the things we are working on, and there is so much more to come. The future of EA Studios is not just about new technology. It's about you, your voices, your ideas. We want to be where you come to play. We want to make games for everyone. So please keep giving us your feedback and let's build the future together. On behalf of all of our studios, thank you for joining us today. But before we sign off, there's just one more game we would love to share. Cousin Darren, over to you.
Thank you. So the moment is here. We finally get to say,
we're back, we're doing it. Skate's happening, we're rolling. We've secretly got together, it's the beginning, the skate evolution continues.
We've been waiting years, honestly, to make the right game at the right time with the right idea, and really, really pleased to say that we're here. It is really early, but it takes a little while to find Cuz or wake him up.
Dude, harsh. Still, we've got a long way to go, but we're stoked, and this is just the beginning.
And seriously, we really can't wait to bring you guys in and have you be a part of it with us.
We want to thank you for your passion, your patience, and all the support that you've shown, us to get to this point.
Oh, the comments.
It's amazing. We cannot believe you commented this into existence. Amazing. Skate changed my life. Thank you so much. Skate forever.
Guys, Guys, we did it. We brought back Skate. Thank you to EA. Thank you to Cuz. Thank you to Darren. Thank you to you. Thank you to me. I can't believe that I'm so happy and my heart rate. Is this what exercise feels like? Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe it. Before we go, because I love you guys, here are the last letters of the secret code. If you think you've got the complete code, go to player.gg/EA and enter for a chance to win one of thousands of free games sponsored by player.gg. You can find the official rules and everything else over at player.gg/EA. Now, this has been an amazing experience, an amazing opportunity for all of us all over the world to come together and celebrate gaming. Thank you for being part of EA Play. Until next time, I'll see you online, and it's been my pleasure to serve you.
We see it all with wonder. We dream in every color, and we come alive. This is where our dreams begin. We are catching if we just win.
Thank you for continuing to watch us here on Rock, Paper, Shotgun. My name is Colin Mahern, and joining me again for some post-show analysis. Fingers crossed he's still awake. Oh, everyone be very quiet. It's Matthew Castle. Oh, if only he'd had a couple of those Mawams to keep him. Hold on, on the count. Oh, he's awake. He's awake. Amazing. Oh,
have they announced Skate 4 yet?
Yeah, like they do that. Matthew.
Hello.
What did you get?
Off the golden letters.
Mm-hmm.
Mine spelt out Toblerone rocks.
Oh, well, that's a bit more. I got Epstein was murdered, so yours is a bit nicer than mine. Yeah, if anyone at home go claim the free games or whatever it is, EA Play Live, you surely saw it. We all knew what it was going to be after the first letter. So what we're going to do now, myself and Matthew, is go through all the announcements that EA made. But actually, do you know what? Before we do, Matthew, give me your kind of overall thoughts on the showcase. Like good, bad, and different. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
I kind of went in with mega low expectations, and I thought it was slightly better than it was going to be because I really thought it was going to be like absolute sort of Junkorama.
Right.
I think it was I still think it was pretty bland. There was a lot of
momentum going forward, making season 5 the biggest
about
and
what,
best start.
the ideas behind what things were going to be. When I think people want to see something a bit exciting, like the last couple of years have been quite dry at E3 in conferences because everyone feels like there's this intake of breath before the next gen, and the next gen is meant to be, it's meant to trigger this tidal wave of
It's meant to be excitement and new things.
And I know we're a PC channel, so we're kind of slightly above all that, but I am not feeling it. And I wasn't particularly feeling it after the Sony conference. I'm definitely not thinking it after this.
I know you say we are a PC channel, but in saying that, what happens with the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 does affect PC because console is such a massive market that they can't just put all their eggs in the PC basket. So the power of those consoles does affect us as well,
absolutely. But I'm just surprised that when it got to their next gen segment, it was like they were like, DICE is working on something amazing, and there was a picture of like a CG head blinking, which is literally my reaction to that. Crazy that we're 4 or 5 months out from the next gen, and that's the conference we get. But I think there are a couple of interesting things that we can pick out as we go.
There are. So let's start, as EA did, with Apex Legends. So
yeah, I mean, I feel slightly bad for this. Not like what they showed was absolutely fine. It's but it's like a limited time mode.
So yeah, it's a collection event called Lost Treasures, which is coming on the 23rd of June, and also a new limited time mode called Armed and Dangerous, I believe he called it.
Armed and Dangerous Evolved.
Armed and Dangerous Evolved, excuse me. He said all armor is evil armor, and he said they're removing Evo armor. I thought it was evil armor.
Evo armor is like armor that gets better the more like you kill, the more damage you do to your armor.
Because he also said, didn't he, that they're removing all revive beacons. So
in that mode, so you have like one.
You have a mobile one.
Respawn beacon. I mean, it'll be fun, I'm sure. It's snipers and shotgun mode only. I really like sniper rifles in games. I'm terrible with shotguns. It looked fine. It looked fine. And if your jam is Apex Legends, like, you are going to play Apex Legends next season, like, regardless, or current season, regardless of what they do. You know,
I think the most exciting thing to come from this was, and I meant to mention it at the start if I didn't, that it's coming to Steam, and also we have crossplay. So it is following in the footsteps of Fortnite. Crossplay was a massive thing tonight, actually.
All of a sudden, you're going to have all those control... You know, you're going to be playing the PC version with lots of people on control pads. Even better, people playing what's probably going to be quite a wonky Switch port. It's going to be murder o'clock. It's going to be great for people who are shit at games like me. That there will be other people to sort of pick on. It's the only time I ever win in games is when there's an influx of, people from a different version of the game.
Yeah. So that was Apex Legends. Again, I suppose crossplay being the biggest thing from that, from our point of view. And after Apex Legends, we then got The Sims, and there was a nice little video focusing on community members. There was a little VT focusing on diversity. And then at the end of that, we got the announcement that The Sims 4 is on Steam, and that started a sort of an EA on Steam type of thing, where we got Titanfall 2, A Way Out, and Dead Space 3. And when that was said, I was like, oh God, is Matthew onto something here? Could we actually get Dead Space 4? No, we didn't. But they're obviously more open to the idea. Like, remember when they pulled everything from Steam and they were just like, no, we're just going hard on Origin. So they obviously recognize, like, they want the money of the people who are just on Steam. So
yeah, it's kind of weird. It just feels like a completely manufactured PR beat. Like, it's great, but it should have been there. It was there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's like I don't know, stealing a lollipop from a baby and the baby starts to cry, and then you give the lollipop back and the baby stops crying, and then you go to the local newspaper with the headline, "Local legend stops crying baby." It's just like, you made the problem. This is a self-made problem. Like, you just fixed it. Thank you.
Do you know who would steal a lollipop from a baby and then drop kick it in its face? That is Josef Fares.
Oh, good segue.
This was a wonderful little profile piece on Josef Fares, Hazelight's Josef Fares, who we all know as the man who was on the Game Awards, and he spoke about he said fuck the Oscars. He was look at him here. He's glorious hair as well, actually. But what I especially liked about this, and I'm giving this some time because it is worthwhile. It was one of my favorite bits of the entire show. Was the reconstruction of his life, where they actually had a little child play him.
Well, that was from a film he'd made.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he used to be a
I missed that bit. Yeah, I know he used to be a
EA had not recreated Josef Fares' childhood for the sake of a weird bit of a games conference.
That's a shame.
I would think that would be in quite bad taste.
But after that little profile piece, then we got the sort of the EA Originals bit, and there were 3 different studios, Hazelight being one of them. Hazelight was actually the first one to be on show, and the game that they are making is called It Takes Two, Baby. Matthew,
It Takes Two.
Oh, is it? It doesn't use the
No.
Like, see, that's bad delivery on that joke now because I can't remember who did that song. It takes two, baby.
It takes two.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it doesn't have that music on the menu screen though, they've really shit the bed.
I will be very disappointed. But yeah, It Takes Two. This is an emotional story, Matthew, about a little girl who is trying to deal with her parents' divorce. It sounds like their separation. She makes 2 toys, I think it was, and then these 2 toys come to life.
Just very quickly for the comments. That was an analogy about the lollipop. That isn't an event from my own life. I just want to clarify that is not something I've done. I do not endorse the stealing of lollipops. Why would I need to steal lollipops with this fine selection of Fusilli and Mao? Sorry, as you were.
It Takes Two, baby.
Yes.
What did you think of this? Sort of,
I mean, I like 2D platform, like 3D character platformers. It showed some environments, like the inside of a giant clock, a big kind of TV set. I really like 3D platformers, so that's my sort of Nintendo background kicking in. But we didn't see what the characters are. We didn't see what the interplay is. My big complaint with, as we were saying in the pre-show chat, was that I didn't think the co-op elements were compelling, like at all, in the in A Way Out. So if there is like a real bond, because there was in Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
But to be fair, Brothers, I mean, I'd probably call that a co-op game at the start. Did I? Like, Brothers wasn't really a co-op game.
No, but there were 2 characters and there were meaningful interactions between them. I don't like. It's impossible to say. It was just still big talk, and then he said it would be like a roller coaster that took you into space, and then it showed a clip from the game, which was a roller coaster track in space.
It's good. Did you not like that wordplay? I think that's quality stuff. It is quality stuff.
I thought it was very on the nose.
After that, then we got Lost at Random, which is the new game from Zoink Games, and this, I suppose, it is another kind of similar type of 2 characters working together. Although this isn't a co-op game, I believe. This is essentially a Tim Burton video game, is it not? You play as this little girl who befriends a dice or a die. Excuse me.
Who I like the look of. I thought Dicey was one of the better things in the show.
Yeah, sounds. I mean, if somebody said, "Meet my friend Dicey,"
sorry, the freezer in the comments. We think the code was EA Play Live. It wasn't a good password, but sorry, carry on.
We think, but yeah. So you're this child. You befriend this Cyclops dice, and we got to see some gameplay. As you can see here, it looks like a third-person hack and slash game. She uses a catapult as well, and at one point she grabs Dicey by the legs and swings him around. So
it reminded me a bit of. It looked a bit like Alice Madness Returns.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever played that. The kind of the American McGee, is it?
Yeah, American McGee. What a brilliant name as well. McGee, not McGee.
McGee. I can't remember which one it is.
He's McGee's director.
Oh, McGee directed Charlie's Angels. Didn't he?
Yes, yeah. Anyway, Lost at Random. What do you have any opinion on?
Like a 2D kind of dark gothic 2D thing with a slightly sinister aesthetic. I actually thought some of the cutscenes, it looked like the whole world was stop motion, almost made out of molding clay. Like it all looked a bit like you could see thumbprints in it and stuff. I like the look of that one. I thought that was pretty strong actually.
And then after that, we got a look at Rocket Arena from Final Strike Games.
Yeah.
So, Rockets, Matthew, do you like them? Because if you do, you'll bloody love this.
My actual notes, I genuinely wrote this. It was a
Rockets,
shame
rockets,
I don't like rockets. Because I don't. I hate rockets in games. they're just messy and they're chaotic. I like sniper rifles in games. Rockets are the opposite of sniper rifles. I get no pleasure from the chaos of a rocket. Like,
Well, you're probably not going to enjoy this. So
I know,
it's,
but I felt bad because the guy talking about it from Final Strike, he seemed so into rockets. He kept saying like rockets, and like when he said it, he was like rubbing his hands together. Like
he was, yeah.
He was
I love
really
rockets.
Oh, he
big
loves them.
into rockets, yeah.
I was like, wow, I don't think I've loved anything as much as this man loves rockets. Not even Mao-Am and Fusilli.
So Rocket Arena is a 3v3 multiplayer hero shooter. Just really cartoony characters. The faces almost reminded me of Bratz dolls, if you remember them. It apparently has dynamic maps, rockets, and other things like signature abilities, devastating combos, and all that. To be fair, he did mention a couple of things. Like you'll be able to customize all 10 of your different heroes. And I don't know, he mentioned about play however you want. I don't know. And this is out on the 14th of July. And then he said the first season launches on the 28th of July with new maps, in-game events, and a new playable character. And of course, because that was the theme of the evening, he said it will be cross-play from launch and will also launch on both Origin and Steam. So I'm guessing you have no interest in this then.
P-Dub in the comments says Quake rockets for the win. I think that's maybe the beginning of my dislike of rockets, was one too many rockets to the face in old school first-person shooters.
Okay.
It's a tricky one, this, isn't it? Because like we knew about this one in advance. I actually think it looks a lot shinier than I thought. One of our team, Sin, she's played it. There's going to be a preview on the site. I haven't actually had a chance to read it yet. I thought it looked quite flashy. I don't really know what they're trying to do with it. You know, like you look at the name and you think, oh, like Rocket, you know, is it going to be like Rocket League? You know, are they trying to go for that thing? Like, it seems that a lot of the big publishers are taking a punt on like a slightly cartoony, sporty kind of game. Because Ubisoft have that one about what's the game with all the aggressive skaters?
Quantum, was it Quantum something?
Yeah. I realise that's
Quantum
actually,
Leap,
that's
the video
not the mime
game.
for skating. That's the mime for Terminator 2, chasing after your car.
That's the Robert Patrick.
Yeah,
Robert Patrick run.
What's that game where Robert Patrick plays? He's on roller skates,
And he loves rockets.
It gave me that vibe. It's the kind of thing where you like bet on something becoming a massive Rocket League sport, like one of those simple on the surface, deep to master type things. That's the kind of vibe I got from this.
Mm-hmm. But what vibe did you get from Star Wars Squadrons? I was worried for a second that we weren't actually going to get much gameplay, but to be fair, we did. After, did I write his name down? Can't remember if I did, but we saw Motive's. He was the creative director, Ian Fraser. He was on first to basically talk about how much of a Star Wars fan he is, loves Star Wars, drew Star Wars pictures when he was a child, and then he showed off some actual gameplay and some single player. So, yeah, what did this excite you, Matthew? Like the fact that I suppose to take it in bits.
I would say generally this was quite a surprise because at the start, you know, in the preamble, I thought they were going to go super arcadey, like Starfighter or Rogue Squadron, like a very kind of, you just hold A and line things up in the sights and off you go. Actually, it had a way more like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter kind of vibe to it, which is what I thought they weren't going to do.
And is what you wanted.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big Star Wars guy, so at the best of times, but it's kind of way better than I thought what they were going to show off. Like, I'd say the kind of key thing to this is first person in the cockpit, you know, simulating those cockpits, quite kind of archaic, chunky kind of buttons, lots of interface. That's something I really associate with that era. Also, when they did the breakdown of the cockpit, even though they didn't really talk about it in detail, there was the controls for power, sort of choosing where your power lies in the game, because in those old games you used to be able to like move power between shields, weapon, and engines. So it's
And
all about
he mentioned something similar as well when he was chatting.
right. So there was So it's all about that balance of like you have quite a lot of like granular control over the ship, which I thought because it's on console they weren't going to do, because that might be a bit of a nightmare, but they've obviously worked it out. I was like very surprised by that direction they've gone in.
The main thing that would interest me about this game really would be the single player, first of all. And I do like the fact that you play as a baddie and a goodie. And he said I'm guessing it's like, chapter 1 is goodie, chapter 2 is baddie, and it kind of flips back and forth, and you see, I'm guessing you see the both aspects of their plight and whatever else.
Yeah.
And that's I suppose somewhat of a hook.
They meet on Christmas Eve and they have a game of space football.
Yeah.
And it was profoundly beautiful.
Everyone hugs and they put their pass behind them.
And then 100 years later, it became an advert for Sainsbury's.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Sung by Lily Allen. And we got to look at the 8 spaceships that you can use in the game as well, Matthew. Are these all Star Wars things? So there was fighters, interceptors, support ships, bombers. I think that's all they mentioned, actually. But they said that you can also customize your pilots and your spaceships. You can get components for your spaceships as well.
I think that, and all that customization is great. I was a big fan of, there was like an Ewok bobblehead on one of the dashboards.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute. The interesting thing with the 5v5 is the suggestion that you can kind of like make up your squadron with a variety of ships, and actually the ships you bring into battle will have a substantially different vibe. Like, do you want to risk just like a massive squadron of bombers to try and take out that rival ship? But while they've got that kind of heavy hitting power, they're not necessarily great at the dogfighting. And I like the idea of you don't know what sort of squad of 5 you're necessarily going to be up against. That seems I think I'm right in saying that's what they were sort of suggesting, rather than like modes where it's like it's the bomber mode, it's the dogfighting mode.
I took it that as you said, you don't know what 5 ships you'll be up against, and the modes they mentioned were dogfight mode, which seemed like your standard 5v5, and these fleet battles, which I was like, okay, this is something maybe that I could be interested in. Multi-stage type of thing where again it can be real players versus other real players, but you can also face off against AI. And I don't know, it seemed somewhat interesting. And they also made a point of saying you can go in gung-ho or you can go stealthy. Now, I don't know, again, Star Wars for me, Matthew, bit of a black spot in my knowledge. How can these spaceships with all these explosions be stealthy? What's that about?
Well, like
is that a thing these
can
do?
Fly through some rocks, or
Cool.
maybe you could get like a big ship, and it sort of flies, and there's loads of small ships under it. So you're like, oh, it's just a big slow ship, but it's actually maybe I don't know, probably not. Like I don't know. Like the bit of Star Wars I'm into isn't particularly the ships. I must admit. Like I like all the people with superpowers and magic swords. But I know there are a lot of people who actually these games in the mid '90s kind of were they're into Star Wars, because you've got to remember, like you have that period between until the prequel trilogy. The '90s is actually pretty. You had the special editions, but there's a period where a lot of people's maybe first encounter with Star Wars could feasibly be one of the old kind of TIE Fighter X-Wing games. So I think they're super, super important to a certain subset of people. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, but this was way more interesting than I thought it was going to be. Just sounded a bit more PC than console, which is what I didn't think they were going to do. So, yes.
So that is going to be out on the 2nd of October, so we won't have to wait long to see if it is good or not. And then, excitingly, Matthew, after that, we got the sports sizzle reel. I actually thought we would get more of this. Like, all it was a CG sizzle reel. starting with a man, I believe his name was Lamar Jackson, who he seemed excited about a new Madden game. But I'd imagine he probably knew there was going to be a new Madden game. So yeah, I can't speak about any of the players or the teams, the American football players we saw, but we did get like Liverpool were shown, Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund, Spurs. I think Sporting Lisbon were in here as well.
All the greats.
All the greats. Also, Kylian Mbappe, right? Who, Matthew, is he 19? 19-year-old French superstar, right? And when he was on screen, there was a Scouse accent that said something about becoming the best, and I don't know why, I just really enjoyed that. Kylian Mbappe speaking like Paul Hollywood or something like that. So you see, I don't know. There isn't much really to tell from this.
The only thing I'm interested in FIFA is if they're going to continue that weird RPG mode about pretend footballer Alex Hunter.
Well, they didn't in FIFA 19.
And whether it'll end up with him shaming the government into giving free school dinners back to the people.
Oh, very good, Matthew.
That's the entirety of my football knowledge. If footballers don't get involved with politics, I don't know anything about football.
But you see, last year, what they did was they introduced this thing called Volta Football, which was sort of like what FIFA Street used to be, but FIFA Street was far more arcadey.
Right.
And Volta Football was just like normal FIFA gameplay, but on a smaller pitch. And I don't know, it lost a bit of the charm that was there in the original FIFA Street. So I don't know, we might get Alex Hunter. It would be an improvement, I think, on what happened with last year's game. We will see.
One of the worst moments in my career was I used to run the Xbox YouTube channel, and we had to do a video about Madden, where one of our team played an NFL player, and I found myself having to write like a script for this NFL player to like challenge, and I know nothing about football, so the idea of me trying to write something which sounded like kind of like NFL kind of smack talk, it was just like I was literally sitting in the office just laughing out loud to myself at how preposterous this situation was, that I, of all people, should be like, I'm coming for you. I've heard you've been, making fun of my Madden skills, and it's not on. Just awful.
If you can remember what video that is, I would love to see it.
I'll try and find a link to it in the description. You'll have a good chuckle.
Please do. So then I was going to say to finish off, this was the penultimate little bit from EA. So we got a sort of an update on what a lot of the bigger EA studios are doing. So Criterion are making cars, Matthew, and the cars. It was speaking about what EA studios can do with the next gen. So Criterion can make cars look prettier, and they can get you into the race quicker because of the lack of loading times. Then we saw BioWare. This was very wishy-washy. It was like they can make fantasy worlds a reality.
I think for some people, just to go here, like I said beforehand,
totally. Yeah.
Here is a next-gen world. This is clearly Dragon Age. It was all pulsating red crystals, which is like the mad, evil red lyrium. There was like a giant castle with a big, lit up by kind of lava and everything. And just that is enough to go, oh, well, at least they're giving it a go. There's a big tree.
Yeah. That's fair. But I think we did get a little bit more when it came to DICE, though, because like I think of all of the studios mentioned, actually, because DICE, at least, where was it? What did she say? She said that there's basically larger scale battles, and we saw what looked like a bit of a prototype thing from then.
Oh, with lots of that'll be interesting. Like, I feel like one of the discussions that hasn't been had, or a lot of the discussions that are being had about the next gen, are about certain techniques, the kind of fast loading, what that means for game design, kind of streaming data and all that. When actually the discussion of what it's going to mean for multiplayer design, are we going to have things bigger and more stable and better and more competent? That could be interesting.
Also, we got this as well. Was that? I missed who she said it was from. I'm just going to rewind a little bit here. Was it Motive? where you have this jumping character with a massive gun that can like grab objects.
It was weird. That was the weird clip because it's something entirely new. It looked a bit crackdowny to me. You seemed to have a jetpack and you were jumping around a city, and they were like, "Oh, you're doing stuff you've never done before." And they seemed to have some kind of gravity gun that was moving a very big cube into another cube. And I thought, well, I have seen that before. Like, if they were an EA throwback was like if they had an entire city that was like boom blocks, that's what I want. Giant Jenga towers. That would be cool.
That was Spielberg's thing, wasn't it? Boom blocks. Get him back involved. Get him back in the fray.
Do you remember there was that demo for Crackdown 3 was meant to have this fully destructible city.
Yes, I do.
Shoot things
using was it Microsoft Azure?
Yeah,
I believe
it was all cloud calculations to do persistent damage, like down to a kind of really kind of granular level. Like I'd love to see a big jump in that kind of big mad superpower, and anything that makes me feel like I'm doing enormous damage as a character is really exciting and fun. But
we did see around. We did see a bit of Levolution 2.0 in the dice bit, Matthew. So
we saw a bit of a building falling down. A bit of Levolution.
Maybe that's all to come.
We saw a very shiny car, but I didn't think they specifically named a studio, even though they have announced.
They did. They said Criterion.
Oh, they did say
they?
Criterion. What Criterion are doing the next? Is it the next Need for Speed?
I don't think any like names of games were mentioned, but it was just Criterion are working on things and look at what they can do with the cars. Aren't they pretty or whatever? Like the words Need for Speed weren't mentioned. So I don't think unless anyone in the chat can say. But then Matthew, to finish EA Play Live off, and to be fair, finished, well, let's discuss. Was it a strong finish? We got confirmation. I said it to you in the pre-show, Matthew, as a little gag, a little throwaway gag. Do we get Skate 4? Yes, we do. But we didn't get any gameplay or even a CGI trailer. We literally got the announcement that Skate 4 is happening. Is that enough for you, Matthew Castle?
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. I feel like I'm just dunking on everything good that they did do. I'm more of a Tony Hawk's person. I prefer an arcade skate game myself. So.
I'm the same. I am the same. I loved growing up. I was Tony Hawk. I wasn't Skate. However, like I think the audience. The skate audience has made me and I think many other people interested in a Skate 4 because of the hype around it. Like they have willed it into existence. Even I can't remember his name, but this man with the fancy little chin beard, he said like, and it felt real as well. It felt sincere. He was like, "You made this happen." Like you.
Yeah, and it felt like a series that got shut down, not through any like fault of the game. Like it's not like Skate like shit the bed. It just, wasn't big enough, wasn't popular enough, whatever at the time. I can't even remember. It's so long ago now. You struggle to remember like what it was that kind of triggered that. But Skate 3 is a fine game. It's got an absolutely incredible opening sequence. I'm pretty sure it's Skate 3 and not 2, where it's like not a documentary. It's like footage of all these skaters like chopping down trees to make skateboards. It's really weird, but it's actually quite funny.
Is it meant to be funny?
I think so. Yeah, it's played for laughs. It's like
all right.
It's like they're all like lumberjacks, but then they're making skateboards in like this big mad skateboard factory. Yeah, it's like you watch it on YouTube. Type Skate 3 intro.
I will. That's the game that I want to play. So that's EA Play Live 2020. Matthew, what did you think overall? Was it?
Yeah.
You said you were going into this not expecting much.
Yeah,
I
think the Star Wars Squadron thing was better than I thought it was going to be. That was a surprise. Like there was a tiny hint of the next gen, but I thought it was quite sort of stingy and miserable. I've actually felt that EA, ever since they stopped doing kind of they stopped sort of being at E3. Like they literally set up shop in a building like across the road, and I don't know if it's a psychological thing, but they felt quite distant from the whole process ever since because of that. There's something straight, like, I don't know. They feel like they're a thing unto themselves. They don't feel like they're part of a bigger industry. I don't know if anyone else gets that. There's a very odd self-contained thing to them that I don't get from other publishers, and I don't know if it's just because of all the anti-EA memes and the general coldness towards them, but I still don't think this was quite right. I thought there was some interesting stuff. They should have shown way more. Like, this was a chance to go, EA's really going to matter next gen. They didn't do it for my money, and there was too much talk about rockets, which I don't care for.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It was a fine way to spend 50. Like, do you know what? I was delighted it was 50 minutes. Like,
yeah, that was good.
That's terrific. Give me more of that. Because do you need 2 hours to show off all your games? You probably don't. You can do it in 50 minutes. And I think, like, I'm just having a look over my notes now and just seeing what they announced again. It was a completely fine way to spend an hour. Like, the Skate announcement is, again, whilst I don't really have much love for the series, I don't know. I'm not even blasé about it. I just, it's me and Skate are just 2 separate entities. But I'd be willing to give it a go because of my love of Tony Hawk, So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see with Skate 4, and I was hoping for a little bit more on FIFA, but I understand whenever EA does their conferences or whatever it is, like, you always get the people, oh, it's the sport bit, sports ball, and it's like,
I've got no time for, like, they, they're on top of that market for a reason. Like,
exactly, you have to be. It makes them a lot of money.
My little brother is one of those people who, he plays FIFA and maybe, a battle royale game every year, and that's all he plays. And FIFA brings him great joy. He pays whatever, 50, 60 quid, and then that'll be his literal game for the year. It's incredible value. I think there's a real snootiness towards it. It's not my deal at all, but I think they do tremendous work. In most ways, apart from those, the only thing I'm not so keen on those bits where a kid gets their parents' credit card and then spends £1 million on
not
virtual
great, no.
football stickers or whatever.
So give me your highlight and your low light, Matthew, to run this down.
Star Wars Squadrons. Low light. It feels really unfair to pick on any of these specific things. That all we saw from DICE was pretty much like a man's face, which looked about as good as a man's face does on this gen, I thought. Maybe that was the screen quality, but, what do you do, a face?
I will say my low light was not getting... is this a cop-out? I was going to say not getting anything more from BioWare. I was hoping that we'd see something about Dragon Age, like, because I want to know if they are going for that games as a service hook with Dragon Age, because that was reportedly that's why Dragon Age 4 was initially scrapped in 2018 before they started this, or was it 2015? Whenever they scrapped it first and they started new Dragon Age 4, that was apparently the reason. And my highlight is, let's say, It Takes Two. I think Josef Fares is a very charismatic and engaging man, and I'm like, yeah, I'll play your game, Joe. Up for that, about a family, a broken home. I'd be on for that. Sounds like a whale of a time. So that's EA Play Live.
And
Matthew.
A few highlights to the comments as well. Raphael M. I don't know if Raphael M is picking out this as a highlight, but he just said it was TIE Fighter that really got me into Star Wars in the mid aughts. So I don't know if that's an endorsement of Squadrons. P-Dub said Need for Speed for me. I believe in Criterion. I do believe in Criterion,
Yeah.
sort of.
Give us a black 2.
Endorses Man-Face, next-gen exclusive.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Yeah, so, like, good fun stuff. Thank you very much to everyone in the comments who stayed up this late and for watching these slightly shambolic streams. Really appreciate it. Would really love it. I know you hate being asked, and we hate asking if you hit the thumbs up button if you haven't, just because it makes us feel all nice and warm inside and helps us fight the evil YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, so again, to reiterate what Matthew said, thank you very much for staying up. Thankfully, I did see Harry Koo in the chat said, highlight, it's not 3 a.m.
That's true.
Pretty good, isn't it? That is pretty good. So yeah, thank you very much for staying up and watching. If you like this, please do let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll do it again. I suppose the next thing, Matthew, would be Ubisoft Forward. I think.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that one. We're going to be doing the
Xbox, and whenever they announce their thing. So that'd be good. So yeah, it's late though, so you should all go to bed. Once again,
I'm going to go and play The Last of Us 2. Yeah, I'm going to go and murder a dog.
Terrific. Well, enjoy that. I'm going to go to bed because I have work in the morning. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I have been Colin Mahern. He has been Matthew Castle. And you, my dear, you have been beautiful. Mwah. Goodbye. Good night.
Goodbye. Thanks, everyone.
See you again. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.